If you're US LGBTQ+, polyamorous, neurodivergent, or living outside traditional relationship norms, this might sound familiar to you. You're sharing something personal or even just mundane in any social situation, but it's about your identity, your relationships, or your needs. Nothing overtly bad is being said, but someone kind of leans in or shifts their tone. They slow down their voice. They interrupt just enough to redirect what you're saying. They might correct your wording, or they might not say much at all. You don't argue with it. You don't push back. You just feel pretty off. Something's off. Days later, you replay the conversation and think, why did my body shut down before I even knew what was wrong? Here's the answer. Your body already knew in the moment. The confusion didn't come from missing the signal. It came from being trained to override it in order to stay palatable, understandable, or safe. Today, I'm going to show you how to use your body as a compass to spot subtle, covert control, not just in words, but in tone, body language, timing, or energy as it's happening without blowing up the relationship or abandoning yourself. This matters especially for people like us, whose identities, relationships, or ways of loving already get questioned, because many of us learn to soften our language, explain ourselves, or stay agreeable just to be taken seriously or not abandoned. So let's get to it. Before we go further, let's name what we mean by covert control. Psychologist Patricia Evans, a leading expert on subtle emotional and verbal control, describes covert control as behaviors that undermine, redirect, or manage another person's experience while appearing helpful, neutral, or well-intentioned. Covert control often shows up through tone that becomes instructional or overly calm, pauses that invite you to self-correct, leaning in, raising eyebrows, or tightening smiles, interruptions at emotionally vulnerable moments, speaking about you instead of with you, and there's much more. It's not overt domination, it's quiet, polite, and easy to miss. The defining feature of covert control isn't intention, it's impact. Your autonomy gets subtly bypassed, your voice gets reshaped, and your body reacts before your mind can explain why. That's why listening to your body matters so much. In the confidence toolkit that I have for free, we use two keys to really pay attention to our body, the bias and band key. Let's start with the bias key. The B is for your body sensations and emotions. All of a sudden, you notice you're flooded, turning red, or feeling a barrier between you, or you have a tight chest, you shallow breath, frozen jaw, you notice tension in your throat, buzzing arms. It could be anything, right? It's up to you to notice what's happening internally. The body sensations also include your emotions, paying attention to how that sensation evokes or brings present to you what emotion might be coming up for you in relationships. It's really the emotion that's creating the sensation, and the sensation is the chemical in your body reacting to your physical body. The A of the bias and the I are for automatic actions and ingrained beliefs. Over explaining maybe isn't something that you might do. You might shut down. You might back away. You might become totally frozen. You might start to soften your language or second guess yourself. That is usually also a response, not just to the emotion, but also what you're thinking, what you're making it mean. And so when you go into the bias and you have a story, it might be the S of the bias is what you're making it mean, and then honing it down to the actual ingrained belief behind it. That's the work they do in the confidence toolkit. The N of the ban and the A are the same, body sensations and emotions, automatic actions. The N is what you're really needing in return. What is it? Why did you say this story? Like, why did you speak to this person? Or what were you really looking for from this person? And what were you not getting? Your unmet needs. So the needs for maybe respect, autonomy, mutuality, paired with stories like, they didn't mean it that way, or I'm overreacting. So you might also be responding to what you're feeling, right? So there might be another layer of body sensations and emotions to your own reaction to your actual needs. And we get into this with the Confidence Toolkit. Check that out on my website. Your body speaks before the story shows up. Here's an example. You're sharing something personal, and someone interrupts and subtly redirects with a slowed, calm tone. But they're so good at it, right? They almost don't even realize. And they lean forward, they rephrase what you said, or they pause long enough that you start correcting yourself because you're wondering if they understand or if they don't get you. Nothing overtly hostile happens, but your chest tightens, your breath shortens, your body freezes. You feel the urge to explain, justify, or soften, or just stop talking. And that moment isn't overreaction, it's information. If this is already ringing bells, this is a good moment to grab the confidence toolkit and just go to reallifecoaching.com and go to the resource tab and scroll down. You'll see where it is. And just put in your email and your name, whatever name you want to put. You'll get 4 weeks of emails. And they go through 4 steps of the confidence toolkit. You don't get anything else. There's no spam. So totally free to you. It gives you a place to log these signals, not to judge them, but to notice patterns across time in relationships. This really gives you a wealth of knowledge about how to respond to these overall and how to spot them like that. You need somewhere safe to track what your body already knows. And here's a short somatic micro practice you can use in real time. So let's do it now. The first thing to do is name 1 or 2 sensations. Sometimes you just have to take a breath to go inside. I'm noticing that I have some stress in my shoulders. My throat is a little tired from speaking. These are just practice moments. When you're in the moment of reaction, having these tools ingrained in your habitual way of thinking can be really helpful in that moment of stress. Take a breath. Habitual automatic action. Now we have a tool in our automatic action. Second, ask yourself quietly, just notice in this moment when there is no reaction, how does it feel to pay attention? What is it that I may actually be needing in this moment? Maybe I'm realizing, oh, I'm way more tired than I realize. Oh, I haven't done speaking out loud in a long time. There's information from our bodies. What is that information? Did I just leave myself to do this thing? How can I be more present while I'm in this moment? Really, that's what the question's trying to bring to mind. Not to excuse what's happening, check consent with yourself, to check back in. Because sometimes we're so focused on what we're doing and who we're with and the environment. We get so consumed by that and we don't realize what's going internally. And that's what's most important. First, place a hand on your body and say, okay, I see you. This is happening. Being very present and sometimes touching our body helps. Doing that can bring you into the moment. So these might sound such simple tricks, taking a breath and noticing what's happening in your body, sensations and emotions, and then really asking yourself, in this moment, have I left myself? Is there something they just did or said? Is there an action that happened? Is there something I'm telling myself in this moment that has left me and tried to fix or control something outside of me or protect myself by doing that? And really just doing that touch brings you into the moment. That's a sensation, right? Feeling. There's smell, there's sight, sometimes turning your head, noticing how the fabric on your body feels, tasting something, maybe even eating, taking a drink, getting yourself in the space, naming what's around you can really bring you into the body. And that's it. No confrontation required in this moment, just presence. That is so important. You won't believe how this tool can bring you back into knowledge about what's actually happening. You'll be able to name it out loud in a way that is really present for you. Of course, we did the bias and the band key. That is in the Confidence Toolkit, and you get to really understand how to utilize that in really hard moments. This month, especially at holiday tables, work parties, and family calls, notice where this shows up through tone, pacing, body language, or silence. You're collecting data, not judging yourself right now. Try not to judge yourself. Of course, we all do it. But what this is about is collecting data, the information that comes from within. Awareness always comes before boundaries. And if you've been told you're too much, too sensitive, hard to understand, this work is about remembering that your body is not the problem. The free 4-week Confidence Coming Out Toolkit will prepare you to practice exactly what we covered today. Learning to trust sensations, spot subtle power shifts, and rebuild self-trust before these moments turn into resentment, shutdown, or self-betrayal. If this resonates, start there. The link is below in the comments or descriptions. Your body already knows the way back to you. So let's listen to it. See you next time.